in the pick and ban phase. That's excellent. You can see Sivir being stricken away from TNT immediately, but I do want to talk a little bit more about MLXG because Swift is the primary guy for Xiaogu. He's the guy. He's the man. If MLXG has to go up against that, what can he possibly be thinking?
MLXG has to pull out all of the stops in this game and really just put it all on the line and take Swift out or put Swift in his place. Don't let him run away with the game.
Nice. We'll definitely see if that's going to be the case. There's the Victor stricken away from Doinby and Kalista pulled from TNT while Xiaohu loses that very popular Azir and Lei loses his Thresh. I'd be really surprised if Alistar were to make it through. Lei ended up winning an amazing game off of a 4-man Alistar knockup. It was a flash, pulverized headbutt, or flash headbutt pulverized combo.
Yeah, so they've actually taken away 2 AD carry bans here from RNG, and it says they're maybe looking towards an AD carry option as their first pick. There aren't a whole lot still available, and also taking them both away from TNT. TNT is going to be able to fall back onto that Tristana, but Echo available, Ryze being banned away as the last pick, Alistar still up.
Alistar's definitely up, so too is that top lane Hecarim that V is an absolute monster at. And I'd be really surprised to see if RNG decide to go back to that Varus. They played it before to moderate success. They played it against Snake, actually, and that was really interesting because they ran the Azir mid Varus and then just the really tanky front line that Snake could not break apart.
Yeah, the interesting thing about QG's bans so far is they are mostly targeted, same with RNG in fact, so it does leave open a lot of the very strong meta-style picks. They may not go towards that Varus because they've got so many options. The Cassiopeia is still available now that Azir and Victor are banned, and we've seen their next picks. Yeah,
the Hecarim is locked in for V, and that's likely going to be Doinby on that support-style mid laner Lulu.
Yeah, his most played mid laner so far, Swift. Actually 6 games so far as the Lulu, and V on that Hecarim, a disgustingly scary top laner to say the least. Looking to get that 8-2 win rate.
On the other side, RNG decide to lock in the Alistar. We mentioned it once, Lei, an absolute monster on it. And Corki locked in. We could see Wu Xin take it. We could see Xiaohu take it. They've played it before, and it would be interesting to see if he decides to switch it up with something a little bit more flexible. But now we're going to take a look at Xiaogu, how they're going to respond to this sort of lineup. TNT's Jinx is great.
It is definitely great, and they actually managed to get Alistar in the second rotation here, RNG, opting for Lulu as the priority for the first rotation from Xiaogu. A very interesting decision, but they must have something else in mind for their support. You can see the Corki being picked with that Alistar. Very strong mid-game now from RNG so far. We'll see what their last 2 picks are, maybe looking for some scaling damage, or they can go all in on the mid-game strength, pick up that Cassiopeia who can work super well with the Rumble as they are hovering at the moment. But we have a look at the side of QG. They've got the Gragas, very strong jungle champion, does it all.
Yeah.
And the Tristana is a TNT special. He works so well with that Tristana, even with as little resources as possible.
Yeah, so we'll see how that's going to work out. We talked about Swift trying to deal with MLXG on that Echo, and that's a Jace and a Rumble locked in.
They want to win at 20 minutes. I'm getting the feeling that they want to win around dragons, around objectives, just work entirely on that mid-game strength. They've got the Corki with the Trinity Force Sorkshoe Spike, Echo with the base damages from the jungle now. Very, very strong. And once you have the Cinderhulk, can still have that passive for raw damage and always going to be very strong. They've got Jace, who now gets the Brutalizer Manamune. Once you've got that, you're a beast as well. And Rumble is Rumble. You work so well with your Magic Pen items.
Oh, looks like Doinby is actually looking at Ahri right here instead of opting for a more standard support. Nautilus is still available. He's going to lock it in. That puts TCT on Lulu.
It does, and that explains a lot as to why Lulu was the priority pick for their first rotation. They want that Lulu in support. They were looking to put a carry with it. Maybe looking to do a lane swap, the infamous, very old school throwback of the 4 versus 0 lane styles where they had the Lulu as the support every single time. The pushing capabilities of an early game Lulu is unrivaled, and maybe Xiaogu are looking for a lane swap because of that.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see if that is the case, and those are going to be our final lineups. And like you said, I really like this. RNG, they know that Xiaogu is an exceptionally strong teamfight team, so end the game before you take too many team fights. It's an excellent idea.
It is a very good strategy as we're seeing Rumble against the Hecarim now, and exactly as we've just mentioned, that mid-game, early game strength that RNG are looking for here, going to be evident through that top laner.
Yeah, and here's in the jungle, MLXG and Swift on that Echo and Gragas, and You know, as we're running through this Xiaogu lineup, I kind of want to talk a little bit about how they ended up falling into this sort of counterpick idea. They've got the late game Tristana, they've got disengage on Gragas, they've got support on Lulu, and if they can make it late enough, it seems like their team is just going to run over RNG because TNT on that Tristana is terrifying.
Yeah, you look at RNG and they do seem to have a bit of a time bomb in terms of their team comp. But if they get ahead, they're most likely going to stay ahead, as we're seeing the Alistar up against the Lulu, and that is a very interesting support combo.
Yeah, we'll definitely see how that's going to work out as we're getting prepared. I'm a bit curious, do you think we'll see a lane swap, Tristana-Lulu? How does that do?
So Tristana and Lulu, very good. Tristana has been picked into the Sivir most of the time, in fact, just to match that lane swap prowess and the ability to take down turrets, at the very least matched with the Sivir. And now that you've got that Lulu as the support with that champion, a lane swap is most likely going to be on the agenda.
Interesting. Well, we'll have to see how that works out as we load into the Rift for game number 1. And we are on the Rift. It's RNG versus Xiaogu, the late game time bomb for Xiaogu ticking away, whereas RNG, they've got the needles. Question is, can they cut the right wires on this time bomb and end up taking a victory? We'll certainly find out as both teams are going for interesting 5-man plays, but neither of them are going to see each other.
That was a super deep analogy that worked out really well. I'm impressed. Xiaogu looking to walk the long way towards that tribal so they do not get spotted by any wards and they can take someone by surprise if they like to sit in there. Of course, it's not going to happen as RNG are on the other side of the map. And what I like about this is they are actively looking for that 2v1.
Yeah.
If they find the lane swap, if they get the 2v2 RNG, they'll be in a much more comfortable position from the start of this game.
We'll definitely see if that's going to be the case. Yeah, there are so many pings. It's like a whole separate language. Could you actually learn Morse code with pings? All right, let's okay. Keeping it back to the game. Lots of wards. Spotting that out, Doinby has returned to the mid lane. Looks like TNT is going to show himself top. And TCT is going to run the good old-fashioned way, while Wushin and Leimi are going to run back down to the bottom.
I like how late Xiaogu left this lane swap to happen as well. Only being visible by a ward at 1 minute and 50 seconds gives no time for a reaction from the RNG side as they push them away from the red buff. But at the same time...
Yeah, Swift going to have to belly boop over the wall, taking that at level 1 as the invade not working out at all for Xiaogu.
No, but they didn't get the counter invade either. They've only pushed them away from the jungle camp. So a very slow start from both junglers right now. Everything's going to reset, but as it resets, have a look at how much experience the top lane of Corki and Alistar are going to be missing.
Yeah, they are missing. I believe that's now the second wave that's coming in there. They've already missed a couple minions. Let's see if they can continue staggering it out for a few more, as they are going to match this 2v2, but the question is, will they be able to make anything of it at that experience deficit?
Well, the interesting thing is that it's going to still push into the tower. They're going to get most of the experience from these minions. They didn't lose an exceptional amount, but the early pressure that can come down from a Lulu and a Tristana is unrivaled. In saying that, it seems to me as though they definitely want the 1v2, having recalled after pushing it to the tower already.
TNT's like, don't let me stay, please. And V, interestingly enough, opting for the double jungle right now. He's going to be there in time to catch that wave as it bounces back, unless Wushin decides to go for a fast shove. So all in all, it seems like Xiaogu are getting what they want.
They are. They're getting the upper hand in this entirely at the moment, based off the fact that though Rumble is getting bonus experience, he's now going to find himself in the 2v1. So it does raise the question of a Rumble with 3 farm right now. They're going to swap back again. This is just a whole lot of rotations in a short amount of time. But at this stage, Rumble's getting the upper hand, but the Tristana is still getting what the Tristana wants.
Yeah, and that's going to be a late game hyper carry, murder everyone Tristana. So Xiaogu are playing it for that late game, and RNG are desperately trying to keep up. But if it's Xiaogu who are setting the pace on a late game team comp, then I'm a little bit concerned as to how that mid game is going to go when RNG really need to hit those spikes. And here's Leimi once again showing himself on the bottom, clears out a pink ward, and they've even got MLXG on that side of the map as well. So let's see if Xiaogu decide to stay on this side this time.
So they have no real choice until they push it to the turret either, to actually just stay in the lane, make sure it does push. And then they have the option of if they want to stay, they can. If they want to recall, as we're currently observing, they're most likely going to do that also. The fact that Tristana has gone for boots The fact that Gragas has gone for boots as well, they want to run RNG around this map as much as possible.
Yeah, they're just going to keep yanking RNG's chain, and even the recall now coming out from B. Here comes MLXG to find Doinby. Flash is used by Doinby to try to get out of there, but he's going to end up going down. MLXG gets first blood.
Yeah, they pick up the kill, but V's come in.
Yeah, he did teleport. MLXG is now in a very tricky spot. So much CC's going down, and he's going to be traded back over V. Who needs CS when you can get kills?
Yeah, they find the easy kill there. That essentially resets the difference between both top laners right now. All in all, a positive trade for QG, but they do lose their mid laner of Doinby on that Ahri with no summoners now, whereas Xiaohu in a very comfortable position can go back up towards that tier and potentially 2 longswords from having the assist also.
Yeah, so we'll have to see if RNG are able to snowball this. Here's TCT and Swift as they head up to Let Me, possibly try to catch him. The explosive shot is pushing the wave, and Let Me, he's not falling for it just yet as he's continuing to play super defensive.
He does have the flash available, so just raw pressure being placed down. I think for the most part, looking for a gank in between, looking for MLXG for the most part, just to stop any future lane swaps, maybe put some vision down. But again, we're going to see at the very least a 2v2 in the top lane.
Seems like Lamy is up there as well. TCT finally going to show himself. And all in all, things bouncing out rather well.
I think finally RNG giving up on constantly rotating to cater to what Xiaogu want. They're just going to leave the Corki by himself, which is a very good position for a Corki to be in. Scales with levels exceptionally well, so it's going to be fine. The difference is that they're going to have the Rumble in the 2v2 matchup, so you can see Alistar, Lay on Alistar, avoiding the lane as much as possible.
Another gank finds Doinby. A huge stun locks him down. He's got no flash, and Xiaohu gets a great kill.
A fantastic gank from MLXG, the positioning to come from behind in his own jungle. You cannot react to that without flash. Ahri goes down, and they find themselves with a fantastic kill.
Yeah, still level 5 as well. That was an amazing kill from MLXG, and just like that, it's 2-1. Now, we talked a little bit about that mid-game power spike. Seems like Xiaohu's right on track to hit that.
Yeah, MLXG making it happen too. If Xiaohu's ahead, he can carry the rest of the team through the mid-game trough if they don't find it. But I think they've found someone.
Yeah, they just might have. There goes the Chronosphere. Are they going to find TNT? He's got the rocket jump, dodges it, but MLXG gets another kill. Even the assist goes to Xiaohu, and RNG are running away with this.
And we spoke about this in the pregame. If we had to compare the junglers, it's going to come down to who can make more of an impact and get the rest of their team ahead. The fact that MLXG is snowballing this mid-game power comp is only going to spell bad things for the Xiaogu lineup.
Can see some shoving going down onto that top tier 1 turret. They're even going to try proxying the wave just a little bit to try getting as much damage as possible. And yeah, so far things look to be going RNG's way. If they can take that turret, that means an unsafe Tristana, and that means a lot of additional kills for MLXG. Here's Wu Xin on the bottom flash, but he walks into the charm. There goes the Onslaught of Shadows. V picks up a kill.
Doinby only level 5 during that rotation, had to hit the charm for someone to die. He bides his time and forces the flash and the spells out from Woosh before hitting the charm. Very smart, controlled play from this Ahri. Finally gets level 6 from that kill also. Now in a better position, but not quite Jace level.
Okay. Seems to be having a bit of trouble in the mid lane, down just a bit of CS, and I actually do want to go back to builds right now. Take a look at all of the items for Xiaogu. Everyone has boots except for TCT, and he's got mobility built into his kit. So these guys are looking to keep running away from RNG.
They are. They're looking to keep running around. They're looking to out-rotate for the most part and just keep RNG on the back foot. But that's not what we're seeing so far. We're seeing a controlling RNG side on the back of MLXG. Xiaohu getting roams down. Everyone doing work at the moment and trying to get themselves with some kind of a lead. Rumble finding himself with a 13 CS lead at the moment, has that Haunting, guys. Most likely going to work towards the Sorcerer's Shoes because there's no real threat of physical damage running in his face. There's no Hecarim to trade with. You don't need the lane resistances as much, so they're going to start to power up. Even the Sheen being done by Corki here, working towards that Trinity Force. Once that's there, that's the go button.
Yeah, I love the juxtaposition between both Wu Xin and TNT. The Sheen for early damage, shoving turrets, and TNT, he was just sitting on an Avarice Blade for a while, knowing he's got that late-game Tristana, so he's really banking on making it through this mid-game power spike for RNG. And so far, things seem to be going RNG's way. V, like you mentioned, down now 20 CS as he finds himself against that duo of RNG. All in all, things not looking that great for Xiaogu. They do need to continue stalling it out in there. They've got the right items to try.
If there's one thing we can take from this, TCT has taken some damage.
Oh yeah, a lot from Let Me. He's struck down to half health. The early haunting guys from Let Me. He's already set to team fight.
Yeah, that's right. But just to touch back on that point I was about to make before TCT just completely got wrecked is that the one thing they can count on is diving V.
Oh yeah, it seems like they want to try. They burn the onslaught of shadows now, and MLXG's even on this side of the map too as they look for that tier 1 turret.
I think V could have found kills there.
Yeah.
I think lay tanking the turret was a big mistake. If he had feared V laid back towards the turret, Alistar was dead. He might have sacrificed his own life for it though, granted against MLXG on the rotation, but wasting his ultimate, and he was my big talking point. The 2-0-0 Hecarim actually being able to be forced out of lane from a Corkin and Alistar, not the ideal position to be in, but he's going to be the saving grace of this team's mid game.
Yeah, we'll have to see if he's able to make it to that point as RNG secure the first dragon for themselves with control over the bottom side river, knowing that Xiaogu's duo is in the top and Swift.
There.
Yeah, he does have the sweeper. The equalizer instantly
so
burned from Let Me. He does not want to take any chances with the minions, but a few are still going to make it through. Oh, this is tricky. They're going to try diving him. Lots of damage coming across. He gets knocked right on out and goes down.
Smart play by him to actually use the equalizer to try and get rid of the minions, but they don't need minions to dive you right now. Swift has been hyper farming as much of the jungle as he can to at the very least match the strength of MLXG. They find themselves with a kill, and now a 1-0-2 Swift and a 2-0 Hecarim. That is the talking point.
Oh, they could look for TNT right now. There goes the wild growth. He jumps in, takes a slow. There's teleport from V, but remember, he used his onslaught of shadows. I don't know if they can quite turn this around. Even the challenging smite being used, but he's really got to be careful. Here's the teleport from Let Me. He's died, but he's getting right back into the fight. V is now the target. He's going to try buying as much time as possible, but he goes down to MLXG.
Overcommitment right there, following that in to actually just put down some damage as they might want to fight here again.
They could be looking for Doinby. Over the wall comes Swift. He finds MLXG, who goes low. Chrono Break gets him out of there, but Doinby looks for more damage. Xiaohu tries to trade it back. A great flash knockback finds Swift. He's being bounced all over the place. The flash to dodge the last hit. MLXG still gets the kill.
They find the kill. They've even got Whoosh here now. The rotations from RNG have been exceptionally on point, outmaneuvering everything that Xiaogu put into effect. They find themselves most likely with this mid turret on top of the kill onto Swift, who did not have his ultimate. V, who teleported in, rampaged someone down but did not have his ultimate because they got forced early under the turret. Everything that Xiaogu have done, almost anyway, has found an answer from RNG.
Yeah, great play from RNG. They picked their team comp, but more importantly, they're playing to it right now. And this is something that we talked a little bit about earlier during the day, was that RNG, they've got a lot of room for growth. They're a very young team, but they really don't seem to have a specific style. If they can try to make this work against a team like Xiaogu, who's known for team fighting, then we might be seeing the beginning of something new for RNG.
Being able to show a weakness in a Xiaogu side through smart picking of strong lanes. Xiaogu trying to adapt to that, of course, with their own respective swaps and map movements, but it hasn't been answered. And you're right, RNG, if they can make this team comp work, if they can utilize the early game strengths that they have now found on the back of this fantastic Echo, MLXG making everything happen, getting the rest of his team, if not ahead from kills, ahead from farm.
Yeah, he was looking a bit nervous during Champion Select, but apparently he had no reason to, as he's now going full tank Echo. Not only is he going to have some crazy defensive stats, but he's also going to have an ultimate that gets him out of danger. So he's going to have no problem looking for dives and damage onto Xiaogu. You can see Let Me is trying to shove the wave under the turret here. That is the last remaining tier 1 for Xiaogu, but V is going to continue catching that. Swift showing himself on the bottom side of the map, looking for a potential gank, but not going to find it. Instead, TCT looks to roam top, but there are so many wards.
Yeah, that's exactly what Swift was trying to do. Place some wards down, but he's got Lei in the wings, making sure that doesn't exist. And meanwhile, this top lane turret is going to go down just from the lane pressure Let Me has right now. A 30 CS difference. The kills even it out a little bit, but the effective damage that can come out of Let Me right now being level 9. Having that Haunting Guide and the Seeker's Arm Guide completed too for that extra armor and ability power. Speaking of damage, Doinby is taking a truckload.
Oh yeah, the poke from Xiaohu is so crazy. He's got his Brutalizer.
Yeah, he's got his items.
Yeah, he's got his core items. Let's see if he goes for a last Whisper next for even more action in the top as Letney. Looks like he's taking a lot of damage, and Xiaogu commit to the dive. They give the kill over to TNT. Easy pickup.
Forcing the exhaust was smart, but they want to dive in the bottom.
Oh, they certainly do. A great charm denies MLXG. Flash knockup from Lei, who goes deep. Doinby's taking a lot of damage. Lei might go down here. MLXG trying to get that last auto, but he just doesn't have it. Wuxin manages to kill Swift, and Leimi actually gets out alive.
Yeah, Xiaohu rotating, securing at the very least that kill with Woosh right there. And this is the strength of this RNG team comp right now. They're hitting, not completely hitting their stride just yet. They're still missing the Sork Shoes just finished by the Rumble. They're not at the full Trinity Force, but I've no doubt they're going to be very close in terms of gold. He is almost on the way. The age is done now for MLXG in the jungle. And the core items, the CDR finish from Xiaohu in mid, on that Jace, has the Manamune as well, has the Armor Pen. This is the time for them to use their power spikes and continue this lead that they are continuously finding.
And that's what we just saw in the bottom lane. Diving that tier 2, picking up 1 kill, almost getting a second on Doinby, but excellent play kept him alive. They're hitting these strides and they're running with them, not allowing themselves to continue falling behind. Take a look at the vision. They've got double pink on the mid lane. They know Xiaohu's important. They don't want to give up any chances that he can be shut down here. Now Dragon's up in 40 seconds. Leimi on that side of the map with a fully stocked Sightstone and a few pinks. Just gonna light this thing up like crazy.
You know, it's funny given how they just dove the bottom lane. The vision they have used has been quite sparingly, but that was based off the fact that 3 were in the top lane. So quite comfortable in their decisions, and saving money is the important part to take from that. Smartly only using wards when required. They seem like a very strong team now.
LXG getting very aggressive here. Bullies TCT out of his own jungle, despite the fact that there are 3 other members of Xiaohu there. Leimi coming in from the side is going to drop some additional wards, but now Dragon has spawn, teleport available from Letme and V. We could see a team fight, but I think RNG wants a team fight right now.
They definitely want a team fight, and Xiaogu smartly not wanting a team fight are going to opt into maybe getting a kill down onto Rumble again, but he is going to back up, kind of just wait around in the wings and be very smart as this Dragon is going to be pretty free.
Gets shredded down by MLXG. You can see he even leads the Chronosphere on the Scuttle Crab. Great play there. Letme looks like he might be caught out. Flash dodges the onslaught of shadows. He still takes a great explosive cast. Huge equalizer comes down, but he just doesn't do enough. V's taking a lot of damage, but he's still going to walk away.
Yeah, they managed to pick up the kill. A fantastic ultimate from Swift there, mid-body slam. So difficult to execute, and given that the onslaught of shadows did not connect, the flash used by Letme, they still pick up a very easy kill, even walking along the equalizer to secure the kill. V is still big, 2-1 and 2. He's starting to ramp up in items, and Xiaogu still have their strengths, as apparently TCT wanted the Raptor.
Yeah, he really wanted that additional gold. He's got the Frost Queen's claim stacking up as best he can.
He's claiming the Raptors too.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's not a champion, so you don't quite get bonus gold. MLXG finds Doinby. There goes the Chilling Smite as well. Even landing the slow, of course, is the Spirit Rush out of Doinby. Bit of a window for RNG as they've got 4 members in the mid. They could be looking for a tier 2 here.
Yeah, MLXG forcing windows everywhere, running at anybody that he sees just to try and force summoner spells. They get the ultimate from Ari because Flash not available from a prior fight. A big deal, as you said, a window. They now find themselves with the capabilities of sieging. The Sork Shoes Trinity Force done. All of the big items completed. And they can just do that over and over.
TCT takes so much damage here. There goes the Chronosphere. Is he going to dive in? He finds V. Oh man, that was so perfectly lined up. But he decides not to commit to it. He's going to wait for his team, wait for the minions while they slowly chip away at this, while Rumble split pushes in the bottom and Letme. He's got enough of a presence on his own while this consistent harass comes across.
Look at V's health from that one hit as well. That's just disgusting. And they can continue this for a very long time. That Chronosphere very good at zoning as well if they try to push in and overcommit.
So much poke coming across. Doinby Spirit Rush is almost off of cooldown. V has almost got his onslaught of shadows, but we're 19 minutes into the game, and RNG, they are hitting their mid-game power spikes, and they are trying to force this game into a victory.
They've got Letme now as well, though, so like they didn't have enough sieging potential before. They've now got raw dive potential. With that Chronosphere, needs to be respected from this QG lineup.
Charm finds MLXG, but I think that's exactly what he wants. Doinby takes some more harass on the backside. MLXG so tanky with that Locket of the Iron Solari, but he's not quite able to find anything. And Doinby, he needs raw stats right now. He doesn't have enough time to wait for that needlessly large item, so he decides to go for an Elixir, and they're just going to dive this turret. Lots of damage, they're going to bring it down.
Yeah, super smart play here from RNG, actually controlling the side waves and making sure they were all pushing in. Had to be attended by both TNT and V, top and bottom lane respectively. And this has let me playing to his strengths right there by having that teleport available. He turns up in the mid lane, possesses a serious dive threat. They just consistently siege and poke them down until it hits the point where they do need to respond to the side lanes. Free turret for RNG. They continue to grow that lead.
Yeah, it's 5 turrets to 0 right now, a 4,500 gold lead for RNG as they've got complete control over that mid lane. And all in all, it seems like they're playing their composition to the T. But again, this is a ticking time bomb, and we're getting closer and closer to Xiaogu's terrifying late game. I mean, you've got Hecarim, who's 2-1 and 2, Tristana, who has just finished her Infinity Edge, and Doinby, as I mentioned, he did decide to go for the Elixir for immediate stats now, but he's going to continue scaling up exceptionally well.
Yeah, all of the QG side are going to continue to scale and debatably outscale that of RNG, and saying that the lead that RNG have found is almost entirely off of objectives. The difference in gold is not to do with any real farm discrepancies whatsoever. The top lane, reasonably even in terms of CS, and then the kills to even it out even more. So even the junglers, a little bit of extra CS for the Gragas, but still has 2 kills of his own. Mid lane farm, even bot lane, only really 20 CS. It's not that big a deal, it's about 1 kill. All of the difference is down to the objectives. And this is the actual team comp of RNG being put into effect so nicely. As TCT wants everything.
Yeah, he stole that red buff right there. Super greedy support this game, and that might end up being a bit painful here because TNT doesn't have the slows, neither does Swift. We'll have to see if he's going to make any use of that red buff as the poke starts coming out from Xiaohu. He just picked up his blue buff, and with this last tier 2 turret now being shoved, RNG could try to look for a play.
Jace has his last Whisper too now.
Oh my gosh, yes,
like, there wasn't enough damage before. You wait till
yeah.
he hits a gated shock blast. It is going to chunk them probably for half of their health. And I mean, Pix isn't really helping anything right now. Kind of making things a little bit worse for the QG lineup, denying red buffs. And the rest of MLXG and the rest of the RNG side are just keeping the pressure on. They're not letting Xiaogu get out of their own side of the map and just pressuring them and trying to really just sap the last bit of energy out of them and maintain their strengths. Because if QG win one good team fight, they can start to snowball from it.
Well, that's actually something that I wanted to hit on. Xiaogu haven't been team fighting. RNG have been looking for fights, trying to pick fights all over the map. They dive mid, they dive bottom, but they dove bottom. They dove bottom. But Xiaogu have not actually gone for a solid 5v5 team fight this game. It's been all skirmishes, it's been laning phase, they have not committed. And that's typically the first thing that comes to mind when you think of Xiaogu. They like team fights.
It's an interesting point to make, but of course it refers to the fact that RNG's team fighting is exceptional and they are far enough ahead that it needs to be respected. What Xiaogu are doing instead is finding trades. They're finding positions where they can pick up something for the one team fight. For the dive in the bottom lane, Xiaogu go top, they kill the Rumble. They've done that twice, in fact, where they can just get some kind of small advantage, not a big favorable one, because RNG are going to continue to be able to out-team fight them. As you can see, the third dragon even going down right there. But the way that they're working is just to keep themselves not out of the game, but they're not winning themselves back in the game. They're just trying to prolong the time frame they have to outscale.
So it's not so much of Xiaogu are looking to win the game. Right now, they're focusing on not losing the game.
Essentially, they're trying their best to not lose the game, because if they team fight, that is exactly what is going to happen to them. So very smart, calculated, trade-based plays here from the side of Xiaogu. If they can continue this, if they can continue to make trades, hopefully get some turrets, change that gold lead, because with a 5,000 gold lead and a 5-0 in turrets, if they get any, then it'll start to close.
With see Xiaogu actually getting some great damage onto that mid-tier 1. MLXG finds TNT, gets some great damage across, and there's the disengage onto Xiaohu. They blow everything to knock him out of the fight, but here's Lamy. He turns on the Swift. MLXG solo. He's still got the chrono break. They get a kill. This is finally the team fight that RNG have wanted, but it looks awful chaotic here. MLXG is still alive on the back line. A huge equalizer brings them low. It's 3 kills now for RNG. That is what they wanted.
And they want the Baron straight away on the back of that fight. They get the fight that they want. They have the advantages in terms of itemization in particular. Their team comp coming through super strong at this stage in the game. And now that they want this, they're going to get very low. TNT and TCT still alive.
Yeah, this is a very greedy play from RNG, and they decide to back away. They're not going to take any chances with the rest of TNT. No, they're still there. They're going to try burning through as fast as they can. There goes the leap from TCT. TNT baiting it over the wall. He's trying to stagger it out. MLXG jumped over the wall to try to stay alive. They secure the Baron, but they're so low health, they pick off TCT, and now they're going to get out.
The numbers advantage is what allowed them to keep the Baron. They juggled so well, and TNT has been caught out of position. He's about to find himself an Echo.
Oh, man. He found him.
He did. Echo found him, actually, and controlled the recall. But in saying that, they've found the team fight that they wanted. Suddenly the gold lead is stretched to about 8,000 from that one team fight. Swift trying his best to engage. It backfires ridiculously badly. And then TNT not in a position to really add much value to the fight, whereas the Jace comes in, the Corki came through, even the Echo being in the front lines of that fight, and they just got what they wanted. QG playing to them. Out of necessity, essentially, though, because it's not much left for them to force in terms of turrets and objectives. RNG only really looking for a fight, and QG recognizing if they continue to just soak away any more advantages, then it's going to be too far out of control. It is a mid-game comp that is too far ahead in the mid-game to allow that to continue, but now they've got a Baron on top of it. It's going to be ridiculously hard.
And they certainly will be. RNG send 3 members to the top. Now it's 5. That means they will lose that bottom tier 1, but they knock down that tier 2 turret so quickly with a huge wave. They might just try to ride this wave onto the inhibitor itself. Look at them, Cowabunga surfing it. They dive under the inhibitor turret. TCD goes down, a huge knockup from Lamy. Even the equalizer, TCT gets locked down. RNG picks up the kill. They take that inhibitor. Lots of damage onto Doinby, and he gets destroyed by Xiaohu. RNG with 2 members dead on Xiaogu are going to try ending this. They get onto 1 Nexus turret. They're looking for number 2, and it's exactly as you predicted. A 26.5-minute game. They'll make it 27 as they're being bullied away. Swift goes down. A huge AoE onslaught of shadows comes out of V, but he might just lose his life because of it. He does, and RNG are going to take the win.
Make sure they kill everybody before they try and find that victory. Convincing closeout here from the RNG side. Playing to their strengths as a team comp, rotating around the map with MLXG in that early game and just finding a lead and controlling the rest of the game from that lead. A very convincing and easy closeout from this side.
Yeah, you can see the Xiaogu lineup not looking too thrilled after that. I mean, it was a very convincing game, and RNG are all smiles right now.
And so they should be, finding a win against the rank 2 team at the moment. Xiaogu looking for that 2-0 start to get themselves rank 1 on the ladder ahead of EDG. Now they're looking to come into the second game with a win to tie.
Yeah, well, we do have a